good afternoon with a capital H. The pendulum of emotions. I don't know whether you've noticed, before we start talking about the reaction that people have to their emotional experience, but have you noticed that life has got, we call them ups and downs because that's the emotional response. But really, if you look at it like a pendulum, you can guarantee that if you look at a pendulum and you push it one way, it's going to swing back the other way. Now, what do we do as human beings is we tend to want the pendulum to be on only the good side. So if you look at a reflection of how your life has been and your history, you'll feel, or you'll see and feel, which is the up and down movement, that things swing back and forth. Now, some people have had some stuff where it looks like the pendulum's got stuck one way and that the law of rhythm doesn't exist, that it doesn't swing back the other way. But what you'll find is the human mind and the human being has the capacity to release trapped emotional responses and to release trauma, as long as the system doesn't go into a fight or flight or resistance state against feeling it. So the ability to have your mental health come back into balance, and this is not for I'm not talking about like the 5% of proper mental health where something organic is going on. I'm talking about the walking well who use sort of mental labels to diagnose themselves so that they don't have to face what it is that is coming up within them. Yeah. So the way to look at this is imagine you push a cork to the bottom of a tank. And it takes effort and energy to push the cork to the bottom of the tank. But as soon as you let it go, it comes back to the surface. So this is what it's like with people who are resisting their own emotions. They say they feel down, they feel low, they got anxiety, they've got this, they've got that, which is, horrible experiences and really uncomfortable. And we can have a lot of compassion for those experiences. But it's a misunderstanding on how the system works. You can't expect then the system to bring itself into balance unless you understand that the resistance that we have to feeling stuff is the very thing that's holding the cork down under the water. Another way to look at this is that instead of finding something within ourselves, our own resources, our own capacity to hold space for ourselves, our own knowing of ourselves, our own self-trust, we often see people and sort of frame things as if those things have to be found outside. So I'm going to find it in food, I'm going to go to the doctors, I'm going to find it in my next partner, I'm going to find it in money, I'm going to find it in sex, I'm going to find it in drugs, alcohol. Doesn't matter what it is, but I'm going to go for something outside of me instead of finding something more honest or something more powerful within me. So the pendulum swings back and forth. Now, this is the same as positive thinking. Positive thinking only works if it is not being used to cover over some negative past experience, because the amount of energy it requires to do positive thinking when there's something negative trying to come up is immense. It's exhausting. This is why eventually it collapses. So being positive is really about understanding how the pendulum swings back and forth. So being positive is more of an attitude to knowing that life and emotional experiences swing back and forth. That's the key. So it's the one observing the swinging of the pendulum is the one that's free. If you're on the pendulum, then you're going to be fighting, resisting. You're going to be celebrating it when it goes one way, going, oh, this is the most amazing experience ever. And then you're going to be going, oh, God, I'm so low, and really, because this is the worst experience ever, because you're on the pendulum. When you're the observer of the experience, which you have got enough experience in your life to go, let's reflect on my history and watch that when it goes one way, it seems to come back. Unless, of course, I'm arguing or fighting with it, and then I'm holding it one way. So it's hard to see this, but I'm hoping that I've said enough about it for you to be able to at least catch the drift of what I'm pointing at. And like all the videos that I'm making, I don't expect everybody to understand every part of what I'm saying. This is what the membership group is for, is to go into the details of these parts that I share, and to attach them, or to at least connect them to your experience, so that you can do something transformational for yourself. But at least if you've got the framework for it and you listen to it, I want you to see, instead of just having an intellectual understanding of what I'm said, whether you can feel that something I'm saying is true for you. If you can feel it in your body, that's the start of the process of understanding at a deeper level. Okay, and on that note, it's getting a bit dark for an afternoon walk. I'll see you next time. Bye.